Larry rides. Oh wait, wrong show. Hello, friends. It's Uncle Larry. Little Tommy. Starship Trooper. How's it going? There's a nasty storm coming our way. I was just watching YouTube weather, and they were saying that below zero weather is coming tonight. So make sure you're stocked up on Yingling. They said it's not going to be a ton of actual snow, but blizzard type conditions with the high winds, you know, because that can get you. So be careful out there, kids. I was getting into a bit of a guitar shootout over here, and I just really wanted to show you guys because, you know, Uncle Larry can't afford to have two nice old 335s, so I'm sort of figuring out which one of these I'm going to keep. I got this one I just recently got. It's a 63, cheerful cherry. See, now here's the thing about these cherry finishes on the Gibsons. Cherry always fades differently, right? I always prefer the ones that have a real translucent, bright, cheerful cherry. I don't like when the cherry gets like brown and dull looking. You know, you'll see that a lot. I like this kind of cherry. This is what gets me going. So I thought this was a cool guitar. I owned this guitar years ago. Bought it back from a guy that I sold it to. I never did get it refretted, but it needs frets. But I think it's going to be a good one. But I don't know if it's got PAFs or patent numbers. I'm not sure. But I wanted to show you. I'm thinking about whether I keep this one or this one, right? Which you guys have already seen. Okay. This is a 63, you know, with factory PAFs, right? And this is a cool guitar. Now here's the thing, like Uncle Larry doesn't know about many things, but there's a few things that he knows about, okay? And he knows a lot about PAF pickups, okay? I'm not saying, I don't know what all the little sort of construction differences are of PAFs. Like a lot of people are experts on magnet length and how they're all built and everything, you know. They can tell you what year it is by looking at it. I don't know all that stuff, but I do know what they sound like. I've been fortunate enough in this life to own many, many, many guitars with PAFs, and I've had, you know, at one point, I remember at one point in my 30s, I had 5 dot neck 335s at the same time. So I'm only telling you that just to know that I've experimented a lot with these pickups, and I know what they can do sonically, and I'm familiar with what they sound like. I want to show you a couple little things, okay? All right, so this guitar, my friend Bubba up in Cleveland, who taught me a lot about guitars, as I've told you guys many times, hit me to some very important things about these old pickups when I was a young lad. He said, look, man, you got to make sure that, see, like not all PAFs are created equal. Not all old humbuckers. See, you know, these pickups are all very different. And just because you've got an old PAF doesn't mean you've got a great sounding pickup. It's just not true. Yes, a lot of them are great, but a lot of them aren't great. And I've had plenty of guitars in my life with PAFs that sounded like shit. I remember buying a 57 triple pickup Les Paul Custom from a guy many years ago for a lot of money, and it sounded terrible. It just, the bridge pickup was so raunchy and nasal, and just, you know, the reason that happens, Bubba explained to me, is because the two coils that make up the humbucker, if they're mismatched as far as their, you know, their output, what'll happen is that one will overtake the other significantly, and then you end up with that super nasal quality. Well, I'm going to show you that in a minute, okay? You want a bridge pickup, you know, you kind of want it to be full range, you know, historically. So So you want it to have like, you know, sort of a full range tone. You don't really want a quacky sort of nasal thing. So when I was buying this guitar from the guy that I bought it from, this guy's an expert on 335s. I even asked him, I said, you know, what's that bridge pickup sound like? Is it quacky? Is it nasal? He knew what I was talking about, because some of them are like that, right? He said, no, it ain't. And listen, it's not. This is what you want a bridge pickup to sound like, right? You know, just general, clean, right? Through a Fender amp. Here it's got mid-range, but it's not like painful. It's got brightness, but it's also got some mid-range. Now I'm going to show you the bridge pickup on this other one, Cherry. They're both 63s, by the way. Same guitar, same amp, nothing changed. You hear the difference, right? Even through a shitty iPhone mic. You hear how it's quackier, sort of more nasal, right? The bridge pickup on this guitar. They're the same height. These might even be 11s on this guitar. I know there's 10s on here. I just got this. I haven't even done anything to it. It needs frets too. Now, here's the thing. Okay, yeah, you would think, okay, well, Larry, keep the one with the full sound and bridge pickup. Yes, okay. That's all fine, but there are some things to consider. I've had plenty of these guitars over the years with pretty squawky sort of nasal sound and bridge pickups, and they can be very cool for recording, especially when you get into the middle positions. Like, as we all know, the brighter your bridge pickup is, the better the middle sound is going to be. You know, you've got more character in the middle. It's not as fluffy and woofy as a guitar with full range pickups. I mean, that sounds good, right? Now let me compare the middle position with this guitar, okay? I wish I had a guitar tech here handing me these. Okay. Good, right? But a little too bassy, right? Now let's get into, so there, you know, it's like you kind of got both, right? Here's the neck pickup. Here's the neck pickup on this one. Just so you can hear it. This is the same way. The neck pickup on this guitar is not as fat, it's not as rich, but it's got a ton of character. As a matter of fact, when I first got these two guitars, I had them out and I asked my son Marshall which one he thought sounded cooler. He's got a great ear for tone, even though he's only 10 years old. He thought this one sounded cooler because a lot of people like these sort of lo-fi sounds better, you know. I get that. He likes raunchy guitar sounds. He always asks me, how do I get that sound like a Paperback Writer and shit like that. So you put a little distortion on this and it gets pretty raunchy. You know, I still haven't decided which one I'm gonna keep, but now I want to talk about one last thing. This video is already 10 fucking minutes long. Jesus, man, where does the time go? Okay, I want to talk about sustain. Okay, first thing I check when I'm checking out a guitar is sustain. When you get up in these high notes, I don't care if you're playing dirty or clean. When you bend and stuff, you want these notes to ring. A lot of 335s have very little sustain. A lot of SGs have very little sustain. This one dies out pretty quick. That's not good. Check this out. Here's this one. This one hangs out a good bit longer. Keep in mind, that's got the shitty original nylon saddles with a caved in original bridge. Now, that could all change when you put actual metal saddles on it, because we all know nylon saddles suck. I know they're original Gibson stuff, but they suck. Sorry to anyone out there who I'm pissing off, but they sound like shit. If you think your guitar sounds great with nylon saddles, put metal saddles on it. You'll be like, holy hell. So this guitar's got better sustain. Okay, but here's where the conversation ends, okay? You guys all, you know, this is why I sold everything I own basically to buy this burst. Check this out. This is where the conversation ends as far as sustain. I mean, first of all, let me just play the bridge pedal. More focused tone. It's like very different than these hollow body guitars, as it should be. Totally different construction. But listen to this. I mean, it hangs on forever. Try to get your SG to do that right there. It's you know, that's where Gibsons have an Achilles heel right there. A lot of SGs and 335s, you bend up here, note dies. Bubba has told me over the years, he said sometimes that's because of slight separation between the fretboard and the neck, which happens a lot on Gibsons. If there's a tiny bit of air in there, the guitar is going to be plinky up high. A lot of people have that going on with their guitars, they don't even know it. I've had that problem. So, all I'm saying to you is that there's different things to think about when you're looking at these pickups in these guitars. You know, I know. You know, there's lots of new pickups and things that you could buy that in new guitars that can. But you know, Larry likes the old stuff. You know, and some of you guys out there like the old stuff. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't give a shit about vintage guitars because, you know, they just think that it's all a myth. But I'm not on that. I'm that team. You know, now here's the thing. Have you ever seen that video on YouTube? It's from 1968 where Mike Bloomfield talks about. I'll post a link. Mike Bloomfield's talking about how he realized at the same time that everybody was playing the same guitar. All the great guys back in those days were all playing bursts, right? And he started thinking, wow, that's weird. How are we all playing, you know, Page, Duane Allman, you know, Clapton, you know, Beck, Joe Walsh, Gary Rossington, all these guys, all playing bursts. Why is this all happening? Why are we all choosing the same guitar? And I think this right here answers the question, because this is pre-pedals, man. We didn't have pedals. I wasn't around, but they didn't have pedals back in those days to enhance, sustain, and gain. You know, Paul Kossoff. You know, you see those videos of Paul Kossoff just milking every bit of sustain as he can out of those guitars. Standing in front of a stack with no pedals. The guitar had to give you everything back in those days. Now, people got pedals and stuff to give you all kinds of extra juice, you know. And that's cool. I'm not complaining about that. But, you know, back in those days, the guitar had to do all the work. That's why people played these, because they do all the work for you. There's no dead spots in these guitars. You don't get that out of an SG. And I realize I'm contradicting myself because you know, I said in some of my older videos that I prefer the sound of an SG, and I do love the sound of an SG. I do. They sound amazing. But you know, this is the first burst I ever had, and you know, I think my friend that helped me get this guitar, you know, was basically trying to prove a point to me, saying, "Dude, you don't know what a burst can do till you have one." And I'm like, you know, you're right. I was wrong. And it's pretty amazing, man. You know, it's just, I'm just showing you. So there you go. A couple thoughts from your old uncle about the Kalamazoo factory on, I think it was Michigan Avenue. Was that what they called it? Where this factory was, making all these fine instruments. Let me know what you think. Hope you have a great day. Try to stay warm, okay? See you guys.